Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the MLP cast for Zedimental this time around. It is a replay cast. This is, I believe, his second game of a Battle Cup, so the semi-finals. And basically, Zedimental, he's requested that I review the replay. Obviously cast it for entertainment purposes, but he basically has requested a bit of an educational piece. Ran into a few problems this game, and has asked if I could give some tips, some helpful tips, which I'm sure I can. So we'll see how that goes. I'm pretty much just gonna try and put in my my 2 cents if I notice anything strange going on or any mistakes being made. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, I'm still gonna try and make it as entertaining as possible with a cast, so we won't let the educational side of things kind of ruin the hype, but nevertheless, we'll see what happens, because I don't know what's going to happen this game. I do know it's a long game, though, so if you're going to stick around with me, I believe it's an hour plus. Nevertheless, though, we'll go through the plays quickly. So Zedimental, he'll be playing that Spectre carry, I should say. Almost said support. Moon, he's playing the Coddle. Limpinator, he'll be on that Nyx. We've also got an OD mid, played by Royale with Cheese, who I do know from an old team that I casted quite a lot of, and Dr. B will be playing that offlane Centaur. Meanwhile, we have Tato Z. He's playing that Rubik. We have... They're playing those damn sound effects, which are pretty awesome, actually. J-Ro playing that Treant Protector. We have Dreams on the Bristleback. Ember Spirit will be played by T-Bucks. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. And finally, we have a Luna being played by Diego. So, we'll see how this game turns out. Nothing too special going on, although I do notice a tri-lane here on the bot lane with Coddle and a Nyx with the Spectre. Generally, the Nyx isn't the best on a tri-lane, so that may cause them a few issues. Nyx is very dependent on XP, getting those levels fast, and in a tri-lane, it's very hard to get levels fast on a Nyx. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes, but I'm already kind of a bit unconfident about that. Mid lane, meanwhile, we have an OD up against the Ember Spirit, which is not a bad lane at all. Probably a pretty good draft against that Ember Spirit. I should mention, of course, I did skip the draft because I can see the draft right here, and quite frankly, because the game's already so long, I just didn't really want to invest another 15 minutes watching a draft when I can pretty much just review what they've picked here and you know, tell that it's not really that bad. The only thing I would have to say is the Nyx, probably a bit greedy on an off lane, but it looks like it's going to be a roaming style Nyx, which I also don't agree with. Simply due to the fact that it's very expensive mana costs for his spells. The stuns aren't very long at the start. He's not the best roamer in the world. Generally, you want to go for like a Riki, a Bounty Hunter, a Monkey King as a position 4. Nevertheless, we'll see how it turns out. I won't comment too much. We can already see Jero though, harassing this Coddle, but the mana leak is there, and that's just going to frustrate the hell out of Treant. So he's going to have to sit there in the trees and think about what he's done. Meanwhile, Dreams appears to be dominating the offlane. He's above in terms of last hits against the Spec. Not too surprising, because it's a Bristleback against a Spec and a Coddle. So it's not the easiest lane to go up against, no matter who you have as a support. Because Bristleback is just amazing in the lane, and practically impossible to kill. Mid lane, like I said, Royale with Cheese, he should really have not too many issues with Ember. Once the Ember is level 6 or 7, he can cause a few issues for the OD, but as long as he holds onto that Astral and doesn't just use it for creep farming and has it in case he's in trouble, he really should be fine. And Dr. B on the offlane, Centaur's a strong offlaner, like there's nothing to say about that. He is up against the Luna, and I believe the Rubik's there as support. So Tato is there as well, but it's very hard to kill a Centaur, no matter what stage of the game. But especially early game, it's just ridiculously hard to kill it. So yeah, he should have no issues here. I can't imagine him dying too much, especially against the Luna, until she's level 6 plus, when she has that Eclipse. But even then, he could probably tank a full Eclipse by himself without any issue. They actually chuck a stun out now, and then there's a second stun, but it's not going to kill Diego off. Nevertheless, they'll continue trying to harass, which is absolutely fine, Luna. He's going to have to back off from this. Has plenty of regen for the time being, but she does have to be careful. She doesn't want to cop that too many times. Because if she runs out of regen early, then she's really going to suffer in her laning stage. So she's being very cautious, which is probably the good thing to do. Rubik is actually trying to harass this Centaur, but return damage is annoying. And they might actually get this Rubik here. The stun does miss though. Limpinator, he'll come in. He'll try to go for a stun of his own probably soon, but he's got some melee hits and he misses too. That's some big mistakes from the side of the Radiant, I should say. And they're going to turn around and do a bit of harassment to this Nyx. He will be okay at the end of the day, but definitely a kill missed out there due to the 2 missed stuns. Nyx was doing the right thing by getting those melee hits in early, while he still could, while the Rubik was stuck. But the stun probably should have been predicted a lot. Like, it wasn't a hard stun to predict. So he kind of just used it in a straight line, assuming the Rubik would still be there, but it was kind of obvious he wouldn't. So probably should have aimed more to the right. Nevertheless, though, mistakes happen. I'm sure he's learnt from it. It looks like this Ember is having a pretty good time mid lane as well against this OD, so he's not really too afraid of Royale right now. Even though Royale, he's got that, he's going for that max Astral build, which I do agree with. Definitely agree with that. And like he's doing right now, you just continue to spam that on the Ember, and he's going to have to continue using that Flame Guard to try and protect himself. But eventually, I mean, he can only bottle so many runes. So eventually, you know, when you're able to spam it every what is it, 4 seconds? No, it's 10 now. You're able to spam that every 10 seconds. It does quite a bit of damage, 325. So then, yeah, the Ember really can't sustain in lane against a full, like a max Astral Imprisonment OD. But then again, there's a Treant as well to heal him up. He's actually going to have a go at Royale, but that's the beauty of Astral. You just Astral and walk away, get back to that safe distance, and then, you know, you just get back to farming. So nothing too much there. Gotta say, I'm a bit intrigued by the Spectre pick. And actually, there's a kill mid lane that we just missed. And it looks like Ember actually had double damage in the bottle. Went for a kill, used the chains. Pretty easy kill, I suppose. He knew the Astral was off cooldown. May have been a bit of mispositioning for Royale, not 100% sure. Bot lane, there's a bit of action too. You can see the Coddle forced to back off, and even Zedimental very low on HP right now. Only about 100 left. And that would be due to the fact that Bristleback was using those quills, and obviously they stack very fast. Which is one of the issues with drafting a Spectre. Is when you draft a Spectre, you need to have a very good lane. Otherwise, you're going to have to take it very, very late. Which I believe is what's going to happen this game. We will find out, but against a Bristleback and a Treant, there's no chance for the Spec to farm properly. Even though he is getting some relatively good last hits in, the fact that Bristleback is winning this lane is not good news for the Spec. Or for anyone for that matter, because Bristleback, if he gets the farm, he kind of gets ridiculous. Still, good creep equilibrium here. Matter of trying to keep it though, which they've just lost in a sense. It's still decent, but now Tibux is there, and they're going to go for a kill. And Moon should definitely die here. He gets the chains, and yeah, he's definitely dead. He does use a mana leak beforehand. That being said, Zedimental, he'll have to use that dagger, and he will back off safely. And actually, he's going to go for the kill, and I don't blame him for it. Now he finds him. He's still got the remnants available, but he decides better of it. Zedimental is basically full HP, so they decide it's not really worthwhile chasing. And he's just going to run back to that lane and get that farm. He's already done his job. Now that the Coddle has actually died, Zedimental really can't sit in the lane safely. And because Coddle just uses a TP to come to that bot lane before, he's now going to have to make that walk of shame, unfortunately, for him. Meanwhile, top lane, we actually see Centaur die. And that was the Eclipse usage as well as the Lucent Beam. Looks like Rubik actually did make the lift as well, so another big kill for the side of the Dire. It appears they even dived under the tower for that one, so very confident from the Dire end. Very aggressive playstyle. Mid lane as well, Royale again, he's in big trouble here. Good stun, but Limpinator, he's blocking his teammate. The Astral will save him for the time being, but that Flame Guard might ruin it. No, it won't. They'll get the kill. Good rotations out from the Radiant, but very scary moment there in those tree lines. Limpinator probably had a bit of a panic moment, and I mean, oh, like, luckily Royale, quick reactions with the Astral to save himself. But my goodness, that was close. Wouldn't have taken much more. Basically, one more hit and that OD would have been gone. And again, Dreams, bot lane, he's just really annoying Zedimental right now. And he just turns his back when he's in trouble. The Quill's just doing crazy amounts of damage. In fact, he might kill him. It's just too much damage being dealt. He's going to keep chasing here. One more, if he had it, he'd probably get the kill. But he ran out of mana thanks to that mana leak. Now Ember comes in. Going for the kill. Stampede used. There's the mana leak as well. And they'll let him be. Ember, realizing he can't do too much else with that mana leak. He's actually lost all his mana now. Although he does have a wand and bottle. And Zed, he's actually used that dagger. He's gone through the trees and basically gone to safety. I don't think he has a TP on him. No, he did. He got back to lane. I'm sorry, back to Fountain. So, good little play from Zed. Still though, the pressure being applied from this die. I mean, they do have the draft for it with the Ember and the Treant and the Bristle. They have very, very early to mid game aggression that they can put on these lanes. And as you can see by the Radiant style draft, it's a very late game orientated one. You've got the Spec and you've got the OD, both of which excel late game. Dream's actually almost dying to that. Luckily, he turned his back and survives through it, but without that Bristleback passive, he would have definitely died. Looks like they're going to go for a play on Diego here. Diego, the stun. The mana leak's there. Now he's got no mana, so there's no Lucent Beams coming out, and he should really die here. Double edge, and he will get the kill. Limpinator will pick that one up. Some XP that's definitely needed because he's only level 5 at the moment. Not the best leveling for the Nyx. And he needed a bit of gold as well, but yeah, Nyx doesn't really pick up until you hit that level 6 mark. You really need that Vendetta to get some quick kills. And then your XP and gold starts snowballing from there. But it's really mostly about the XP for the Nyx. And they're actually going to make another gank here. The Invis on Ember Spirit, so he really should be going in first. That being said though, Zedimental, he is by himself. He's going to get caught out here by Tibux and the Ember. He's got the chains. He's going to use it. Yes, he will. Now he's under the tier 2 tower though. He might just keep diving, but the Stampede's been used. Now the TP coming in from Moon. And do they have a mana leak? He does have it. No, he doesn't have the mana for it actually. That's a bit of a shame. Now he does, and they'll use it on Dreams. They'll drain all his mana, actually. Ember Spirit jumps back in with the Remnants. The hammer was dropped from OD. And Ember can't find a kill quite yet. Royale gets the kill on Dreams. Now there's the Astral on himself because Jero's there. And Jero looks like he will pick up a kill at the end. Royale still trying to go for the kill on the Ember. Now, Spec, Zedimental might have to back off. He's not got enough damage quite yet. Limpinator, he'll keep chasing here. He's got the stun in just a second, but the Flame Guard will take away a lot of that damage. And in fact, the Ember just going to turn around, which he can do. Meanwhile, Tato gets a kill on Moon. And now they're probably going to find on Limpinator too. The Remnant is now up, so they should get the kill. In fact, they won't even use it. Oh, good stun, but doesn't matter. Now the dagger comes out from Zedimental, but too late, unfortunately. And they've really got to try and focus here on just trying to avoid any kind of fights and just continue farming. Now, if I was to comment on the warding situation for the Radiant, I'd say it's relatively poor right now. So they're struggling with the laning phase. We've already seen that. Their lanes aren't, sorry, the wards aren't the best. So they've got this one ward here, which is fine. You've lost your tier 1 though, which means that you basically, this becomes invalid, right? Because your tier 1's not there. So generally you have that ward in case someone jumps you around these areas, you run to your tier 1, you're fine. That's not really valid anymore. Now there's a good ward there that was placed by the Coddle Moon, so that's a good ward. That's what I was about to say. He needed a ward around this area, so when Spec farms around here, you can see if somebody's going to jump in. But the thing is, they've ganked them about 3 to 4 times now, going through that exact spot. And in fact, I think yeah, Royale's dead here. He used the Astral on creeps, and this is what happens when you do that. They're all standing in the back lines and just waiting, and once you use it, they know they can go in. Looks like Limpinator, he's trying to go for a kill with the Vendetta. He is, unfortunately, it looks like it may run out before he gets to anyone. And this Ember is extremely competent. He's got absolutely nothing to fear at the moment, except maybe Dr. B, who's running in with a Stampede. There's the stun. Limpinator, can he get the hit? Yes, he can. Now the follow-up stun, and they will get a big kill there. It's a massive kill. Good rotations. Now they're going to try and go on Dreams, but Dreams isn't really killable at the moment, so they'll have to leave him be. They'll just drain a bit of his mana. Royale TP's in as well, and it looks like a Astral was stolen. In fact, it was. Rubik took it, which is a great spell to steal on Rubik, mind you, because you can save your teammates, you can trap somebody. It's a really good spell on Rubik. No doubt about that. Royale. He's in the mid lane again. He's holding onto that Midas. Hasn't used it yet. Definitely got to use that Midas as soon as it's off cooldown. There it is, but I don't think it's really worth going to the neutral creeps because of that XP debuff to the Hand of Midas that was recently given. It's not really worth waiting to go to the neutrals. Just use it straight away. You're only buying it for the gold these days anyway. There might be a big team fight here mid. Lucent Beam's coming out. There is the Eclipse available, and he does commit it now. Nyx will die straight away. Moon, he'll be the next target, and he'll actually die as well. Double kill for Diego, and very aggressive positioning from the Radiant when they're already behind. Questionable. Definitely questionable positioning. They should have probably been able to tell that the Eclipse would be available. Because, I mean, he used it ages ago on that kill on Centaur and hadn't used it since. Now they're going to take the tier 1, and there's no way they can really stop them anymore. They're too out of position to do so. Royale looks like he tried to come in close for a deny, but the Tree and Protector was there. Used that Leech Seed and made him back off, really. Looks like he... And they're really just going to sit in their jungle now and probably just farm those jungle creeps and take them off the Radiant, which is the right thing to do from the Dire end. When you're this far ahead, there's no reason why you don't just go steal all the creeps from their jungle and basically force them to take risky farming situations. They're going to go down mid. They're feeling confident at the moment. They have got the Stampede available, so it's not the worst time to go for it. You definitely want to have that available when you're going for that tier 1. Now, Dreams will come in. Limpinator misses the stun, unfortunately. And actually, Dreams, he's running back now because the OD deals a lot of damage. And B? Oh, there's the Overgrowth. And that's actually massive. The hammer was dropped, but it doesn't really matter. The Blinding Light. Dreams is still alive through all this. They're pinging to try and kill him. Zedimental does get the kill, but Diego, he gets the kill on him. Ember got a double kill. And the only one left is Nyx. So Limpinator forced to back off. In fact, did he even use his Vendetta? Yes, he did. But it just wasn't enough. Now, they got 3 kills, which you could argue is maybe worth it for their team right now, but they really don't want to be dying like this. Diego, I mean, he barely walked away with his life, but nevertheless, he walked away with his life, which is really the issue at hand. They're going to go back in mid again. You can see Royale, he hasn't had the best time with farm. He's died 4 times and only got 1 kill in return. An OD really needs about 15 to 20 minutes to get some decent farm. Get that Hurricane Pike up as soon as possible. And after that, of course, the Blink Dagger, and then you just... then you get online. Then you can start taking team fights. You have the mobility. You can always get into position. But he went for the Midas first, which isn't a bad pickup, but... it does slow your farm down, and if the enemy team notices that's what you're picking up, they'll abuse it like they are now. They're actually going to jump on Zedimental again. The dagger is there, and they do actually commit the Stampede as well. Moon's coming in though. The Mana Link's there onto Tato, but they won't be able to really kill. In fact, they're recently alive here. Nyx, he comes in, Spike Carapace, stuns up the Rubik. There was no Vendetta hit there for some reason. Mana Drain is used as well, and Ember, he might die here, but he's juking them quite a bit. I think he will die, though. I can't imagine he's going to survive this. He's out of mana. That being said, though, Dreams is here to help out. Tato is still there in the back lines. They do kill off the Ember Spirit. That being said, the Eclipse from Diego. And good Astral from Royale, but he's left alone now. He should die just to the Leech Seed at that, but he'll go down. Diego will take another double kill. Dr. B, I mean, he's running for his life. Meanwhile, Moon, he's 1 hit away from dying here, and he should die to Dreams. In fact, Diego will pick up a triple kill with that Lucent Beam. The XD's coming out from the Dire end. Dagger onto Tato. Bit of a cheeky dagger. I'm pretty sure B was thinking about going for that double edge. That Blink double edge, but decides it's not worth risking his life for the sake of killing a Rubik. Which is definitely the correct answer. Zedimental, he'll get back to farming here. And it's what he needs to do. He really needs to just find some safe farm. Get that radiance up. Make sure it's not too late of a timing. Because it really does make a difference if you get it early. Actually, Limpinator, he's run in. But he's got the Spike Carapace off. It's a 3-man stun. And now they're going to deal a lot of damage. Diego gets taken down. The Overgrowth was committed. But I think Jero, he's screwed here as well. Dreams, they can't really cancel the TP. And yeah, Jero will go down. I mean, the Ember Spirit, he's going to have to back off. And 2 kills, pretty good defense. Very well played to them. It was beautifully played by the Knicks, who ran in and used that Spike Carapace and really stunned 3 people at once. So it's very well played by him. He really set that up for his team. That was perfectly executed. And this is going to allow them a bit of free space to farm, which is exactly what they require right now. If we look at these items, Zedimental, he's got the Vanguard. This is a good pickup. He definitely needs that tankiness. It allows that early game fighting capability that Spectre sometimes wants. So it is a good pickup on the spec. Not too much going on Moon right now. He's just trying to get that 4-star. B, I mean, he's already got the blink. Looks like he's going for a Hood of Defiance next. OD, he's finally got that Dragon Lance. Like I said, had a very terrible laning stage. And Nyx, he's got an Urn and a Wand. Arcane Boots, not too much. But you can't expect too much from a position 4 Nyx, who didn't have his own lane to farm. Dire in though. Ember Spirit got all the things he really needs right now. He's got the boots and the Veil of Discord, and we all know Ember Spirit with the Veil of Discord is a thing. It deals a lot of damage, so it's really all he needs. The brown boots, the Veil. He'll pick up the Lincoln Sphere as well, just for that added survivability. Be able to block off the Astral. Maybe even the Dagger. So, good pickup from the Ember when he gets it. Treant, not too much going on. Just some support items. Bristle, standard. Going for that Vanguard and then the Blade Mail. Rubik, again, support items. Not too much going on there. But Diego, he is the top of the net worth. He's got the Yasha. He's got the Dragon Lance. He's farming very well. He's basically on time to get what he needs by the right time. So, you know, you get that Manta up, you're able to push very, very fast. And the idea is, because they've got a mid-game style draft, they want to finish this game within the mid-game. Because they realize that if they let it go too late, even though Luna can fight late pretty well, against a Spec and an OD, there's really no chance against beating them unless they make massive mistakes. So, we'll see how this goes. Everyone's getting their free space to farm. Not too much else to say right now about that. Limpinade is actually going for an Aghanims, which I don't disagree with. It might be a bit greedy to go at this early, especially as a position 4. But I can't blame him. There's probably the state of mind that they think they're going to have to be on the defense a lot, which they are going to need to be. The Aghanims Nyx, I mean, trying to push up high ground against an Aghs Nyx is just basically impossible. The fact that he can throw out stuns so often at such long range, like, it's just too hard to initiate into something like that. So the sooner he gets it, the sooner he's able to defend that high ground, which is going to be coming pretty soon. In fact, they might even be pushing for it right now. It looks like they are actually. The Manta Star is up on Diego. So they are going to go for it here. Moon will TP in. Now the OD as well. Actually, everyone's TPing in. They realize they've got to defend this. And you can already see that chip damage from the Luna. It's slow, but it's effective. And they can really continue to do this with those Mantra Illusions, but they decide they'd rather back up now. There's still plenty of opportunities to go for on the map. You've still got 2 T2s. You've got the Roshan available. There's just too much going on to risk so much going for that Tier 3. They did force the enemy team back, though. Now they're actually going to find Zedimental. The Stampede committed. The dagger thrown out. Dr. B actually gets a kill on Tato. They're fighting the backlines here. Zedimental gets a kill on Jero somehow with the dagger. And they're actually turning this around quite well. So what looked like it was going to be a pick off on Zedimental actually ends up being 2 kills for his team. So very well played to them. I did not see what was happening in the backlines. In fact, I wasn't expecting a fight, but good turnaround. It's one of the beauties with the Centaurs. The Stampede allows you to get out of a bad position and get in the good one. And they're actually going to get a tier 1 out of this as well. I don't think there's any way the Dire defend this. In fact, you can already see the tier 3 push coming out from Ember again, trying to force them to back out before they go for a tier 2, which is a pretty smart play from the M. He's trying to deal a bit of harass to Zedimental, but he's got to be careful. Spectre, he can take a lot and deal a lot back, especially if you're alone. Royale now. He has the invis. He's going to find himself a Luna. Decides better of it though. He's already experienced that Eclipse a couple times. Put him by himself, it's going to be 10 times worse. Being smart here. They're grouped up as 4. They're letting the spec farm in peace. And she's very safe at that bot lane. But you stick as 4, you don't allow them to pick you off. Because every time they pick a couple of you off, they're going to get a tier 2 at least. And actually the Dire are being very cautious. They've lost the last couple of fights, so they realize we're doing something wrong here. We've got to back off. In reality, what they should be doing is pushing the pushing to basically get more tier 2s. They should really be forcing the fights right now rather than trying to continue farming. But they're a bit scared, I think, because of those last 2 or 3 engagements. They've gone for that Roshan though. It's not too hard when you've got a Bristleback there who can not only make the armor lower, but he can tank everything and get dealt no damage. It looks like the Radiant may be slightly aware of it. In fact, they're going to Mana Leak Ember Spirit right now. And there's going to be a fight attempt. The Roshan's there. The Aegis is on Luna. Ember will back off, but he has the Remnant there. So he's always able to TP back with full HP, which he will be doing. And it looks like they're going to go for a tier 2 push. So they went for the safe Roshan. Now they're going to start pushing it again. Pushing the limits, seeing what they can really do against this lineup this early. Obviously the Coddle makes it very hard to push. Rubik losing basically half his HP from one of those Illuminates. Libinator, he's in Vendetta, he's ready to go. It's about to wear off though. And he's got to be careful not to get caught out here. Now they found him. They've got the sentry there. He does use the Spike Carapace. Now they're stunned onto the tree, and they're actually not making a go into him. The Spectre, it does come in Zedimental. The Eclipse was there though. Moon almost getting killed off here. Tato did die in the backline from Zedimental. Now they get the actual Aegis kill, and Dreams might lose his life here. In fact, he does. The overgo's massive, but there's no follow-up here. In fact, Ember, he's actually come in, and there is follow-up. And the OD is going to die, I think. Yeah, he will. That's a triple kill for Luna. I'm not even sure how this is happening. Zedimental, he's going to lose his life as well. Ember almost goes down. No, he hasn't lost his life quite yet. He has the wand as well, but he will lose his life to the Ember Chains. And it appears that in that whole team fight, the one thing that turned all of that around when it looked so bad for the Dire was that overgrowth. And once that came in, you know, you got the Veil of Discord followed by the 3 remnants coming in from the Ember Spirit. I guess the damage is just too much. And Diego obviously there with the bouncing glaives, the Eclipse, the lucent beams, the Manta style illusions. I really thought that was going to be a Radiant win. It really looked that way, but it just, at the end of the day, that Aegis respawn really screwed them over, because if Luna didn't respawn, I mean, it definitely would have been a win for them. Nevertheless though, these boys aren't one to give up. They will continue with the game, back to farming. They haven't really lost too much. They only lost that tier 2 in mid. Diego's got 5.3k. Hasn't really put anything in his quick buy menu to you know, pick up something, so we don't know what he's going for. After you've got that Dragonlance Manta, there's a variety of items you can go for. They actually found the tree, and Dr. B, beautiful stun. Now the double edge. The dagger was in by Zedimental, and it's an easy kill for them. And now they're going to find themselves an Ember Spirit, but he does have a remnant, and he gets the hell out of there. But still, that's a good little pickup. That's another 500 gold going to the Weather Radiant. And if you can find those little kills, that's exactly what you need to bring yourself back into these kind of games. Diego, will he get stunned up? Yes, he will. Limpinator will find him, but he may need to back off now. No, he actually has the Ags, so he can go for a fight here. And the urns dropped. Unfortunately, his stun is on cooldown, but Zedimental will get the kill, and they actually made the Luna commit an Eclipse, which is definitely not the idea from the Luna, but my goodness, good little play from the side of the Radiant. And you can see Zedimental with that Radiance, a lot more confidence coming out. Because the damage increase is massive. You've got that damage over time, which is really decent at this stage of the game. So, when you've got a Spectre and a Nyx, you're going to find a lot of kills. And it's good little thing. It's good little kills they're finding. They're making the push here for the tier 2. Good idea while the Luna's down. I mean, if she wants to defend, she's going to have to buy back, but there's no way she is going to buy back. Limpinator, he'll take care of the creep wave. It does look like there's going to be an initiation. No, Dr. B will do it himself. And Bristle will be like, well, we better back off now, because apparently they're willing to initiate when we aren't. And this tier 2 should go down with no issues. They're going to have a go on Limpinator, but he has that burrow. Now the double stun as well, and they can't really get him. No, they do have the sentry. They can find him, but the damage decrease. He should really stay burrowed there. He does use the Vendetta. Now the Spike Carapace again. Can he back off? Beautiful stun from him, but unfortunately the Leech Seed was already there. But my goodness, that was a beautiful damn stun from the Nyx. Limpinator with the stun gods there, the Ravagers, but probably should have remained burrowed for the time being, because the damage decrease is so massive. Yeah, there was no real way he was getting out of that, to be fair though. Dr. B now, he'll be ganged up on Diego, Jero. They're going on double stun there. Ember Spirit, he's coming in. He misses the chains. The Veil is there, but I don't think they can kill this Centaur. They'll rather go for Moon, who's a much easier kill. And there's no way he's getting away. The Lucent Beam does hit him. So they get something. There's 2 down right now of the Radiant. Nyx will be back up, but without that Coddle, this should be an easy tier 2 for the side of the Dire. And there's really no way they're going to defend this. In fact, Rubik, he got the burrow somehow. And that's an interesting little spell to steal. I'm wondering if he gets the increased range with his telekinesis. At the very least, he does get the health and mana regen. And the damage decrease from the enemy team. So that's a positive. Good little escape mechanism, I suppose. Ember Spirit. You can already see he's basically not able to kill the Spectre anymore 1v1. And now Zed, he already has a Blade Mail as well, which just makes it that much harder, because if Ember Spirit initiates with a Veil and then 3 Remnants and the chains and a Blade Mail is used before all that hits him, this Ember Spirit's gonna die. Ember Spirits do not like Blade Mails, believe it or not. Tato now, he's playing around with that burrow. Being a bit of a Diglett. Oh, Ember Spirit, he's going to be found out here. Dr. B though, he already used that blink. So will not be able to initiate. Both teams still playing the farming game. Luna now picks up a BKB. Smart pickup. Limpinator. That burrow sound is so frustrating from that damn Rubik. I hope he dies and loses the damn burrow. Limpinator now, he's in that Vendetta form. And in fact, look who's going to find Rubik. This is what you get for being a Diglett, like I said. They will kill him off. Good little kill there. Spectre did rotate in. Now he's going to keep going. He finds himself Jero. They do use the Shrine, but I think Zed can actually tank all this. They do. Oh, good overgrowth there. And the Remnants coming in. Now the Eclipse from the Luna. And they're actually going to get quite a few kills here. Limpinator, though, he does burrow in. He's healing up quite fast. The OD is still alive as well, but Royale, he will end up going down. That's a double kill for Luna again. They know Limpinator is there. Now they drop the Sentry. They can get him, and he's going to have to try and back out of there. He should be able to. He's got the Vendetta, and yeah, he'll be fine. Ember Spirit actually gets a kill on Moon all the way down here as well. So the chasing ability of the Dire is obviously very good with an Ember Spirit. Bit unfortunate. I thought that was going to go the way of the Radiant. Zedimental now. He's actually going for a kill attempt onto Ember, who does appear to have no remnants left, but he is got backup. Limpinator burrows, and this is where the stuns will start coming out. The high ground defense that I was talking about with the Nyx and the Coddle, it's going to be so hard to push against these guys. He should really be chucking out these stuns constantly, though. He's got a 7-second cooldown on that. There's the first double stun. Now the Spike Carapace, and he can pretty much perma-stun them. They're actually going to have a go onto him. He's really going to try and burrow. Beautiful stun from the Nyx, but he may die here. No, he does burrow in time. Beautiful stun from B. Looks like they'll get a kill on the Ember Spirit at the least. Ember will go down. Rubik has burrowed again somehow. Stampede. The hammer is dropped. They killed another person off at 3 dead so far on the Dire, none on the Radiant. They're going to find Dreams as well. They'll get the kill on him. 4 down. Beautiful team fight from the Radiant end. And this is exactly what they needed to bring out here. And like I said from the beginning, guys, it's going to be very hard for them to try and push high ground. Rubik is still burrowed, and they know he's there, so they're going to do the slow kill. And in fact, Dreams helps them up and just says dust. And Tato, he's kind of just being an idiot about it and playing around with them. And Dr. B will just chop his head off and put him out of his misery. Big gold changes there, though. 2.5k going towards the Radiant. 1.4k lost on the Dire. It's about a 3.9k difference. And that's a big deal. Now, this tier 2 will be going down as well. And it's just these small objective gains that they're getting here that really are going to bring this this game back to the way of the Radiant right now. And Limpinator, he's being pulled back in by the Coddle. And they're actually going to find themselves a Roshan straight away. The question is, will they try and go for the tier 3s after this Aegis, or will they just hold on and back off? We'll have a quick look at these net worth graphs. It's about evened out now. The XP just about the same. There is going to be a big team fight here, though. The Ember Spirit will find them. Roshan's almost down, though. The Remnants come in. A lot of damage dealt, but they still haven't killed anyone off. Beautiful double stun from the Centaur. Now the Eclipse committed. OD will be the target. He doesn't have an Astral available. He will die. Now Dr. B, he's going to be the next target. And they've just given Roshan away. Even the Overgrowth committed just in case the Nyx was around. In fact, they do find Limpinator. Good stun again from him, but the sentry is there. If they can lift him, he's going to die. Lose some beam. Now another sentry dropped, and he's not getting away from this one. He will end up dying to the sword of Tibuks. Basically the reason that happened, this ward is not effective when you're doing a Roshan. You want to have one right there, because that's where they're all going to TP to, being the shrine. So to get there in time to combat the Roshan attempt, they're going to TP right there. So you need a ward there to be able to tell you that. This ward does not tell you that they're TPing, especially if they TP right there. They're going down mid lane. They're going to find the Coddle, and they will kill Moon off. So that's another big kill, and this should in fact be a Rax. Zedimental, he's trying to defend this, and I don't know if he can. He's used the Blade Mail, but it's not really doing the job here. And they've got the Crimson Guard as well to help out. So this tier 3 definitely going to go down. The question is whether the Rax will go down or not. But with the Luna, it really should. And yeah, it goes down so fast. They can't even get in close because of the bouncing glaives. The melee will go down. The range will go down as well. Can they dish out some punishment for this? I don't even know if they can do that right now. Limpinator, he's making the chase. Good stun out from Dr. B. And another stun, but there's no damage being backed up from it. The Overgrowth will be there onto 4 as well. Now they're trapped into place. The root onto the Bristleback. Can they get any kills here? Zedimental, he's still alive, I think. Yes, he is. B was the one who died. It's 2 down for the Dire so far. Diego almost down, loses the Aegis, but they lost their Nyx. So now, I don't know if they can kill this Luna here. Diego, he's going to back off. And it's basically a 2 for 2 at this point. So the punishment, I would dare say, not successful. In fact, Ember going to keep going here. Almost tormenting them right now. Zedimental, he will run in, try to commit that punishment. Diego, going to back off. He will get a kill though on Diego. That's a big kill. They overstayed their welcome here. Dreams might die as well. Zedimental being smart about it, backing off right now. But Ember copping a lot of damage from that OD. And you can't overlook how much damage that OD can do. It's all pure damage. Those arcane orbs are massive damage dealers. The dagger attempt was thrown out there to try and find a hero, but he couldn't find one. That was a 3 for 2 in the way of the Radiant. Not the best kind of fight they could take after losing their racks. They definitely didn't want to lose any players, but they definitely made a lot of gold of an XP. And I would dare say it was definitely still worth it. Just not as much as you would have liked for their sake, I suppose. Nevertheless, Centaur now with the Stampede. Just for safety reasons, and what you've got to remember as well is because that tier 3 went down, the shrines are now open for the taking, and that's going to add to the economy of the Dire. So they're just going to get more and more now. And that tends to really never stop. You just keep adding on that gold, getting that, like, furthering that advantage that you already have. And you can see that gold, it changed quite a lot since that Rax was lost. And Ember, he's going to start slow sieging by himself. There is a stun there from Dr. B. Now if they can get the follow-up, and I think they can, they will find it. Ember, he's in a bit of trouble. Now the root. And they're dealing a lot of damage. It looks like he will go down. Massive mistake from the Ember Spirit. Absolutely massive. He literally just gave 800 gold plus to Royale. Basically. And he lost 500. That is an absolute mistake. And these are the kind of things that throw games for teams. Oh, I can only imagine his captain's probably raging at him right now for doing that. And I understood the purpose. Obviously, he thinks I'll deal a bit of tower damage. I'll go back to my remnant. But when you've got the chain stuns and you've got the root, not the best combination for an Ember Spirit. There's now a heart on Zedimental. So things are only going to get from bad to worse for the side of the Dire right now. Because this spec is going to... 4k HP. I mean, what do you do against that? He even went for the plus 400 health talent at level 25. I can't blame... I don't think that's a mistake at all. The dagger's probably not really worth it. The mana pool, not the biggest. And with that plus 400, he'll probably get more because of the reflect that he does to the enemy heroes. They're going to actually start pushing this tier 3 now. There's a good stunner, and they're actually going to find this Rubik. They might get the kill, and they will. Royale picks it up, but that's a beautiful overgrowth onto 4. BKB from Royale. Now the Stampede committed. They want to find some more here. The root's found onto Luna, but she does have the Eclipse. The BKB committed as well, but it's hitting nothing because Royale had that BKB. Now it is. And it looks like Royale will lose his life to this unless he can find some kind of crazy escape out. He can't though. He will lose his life and they will fail that tier 3 push. And in fact, Bristle, he'll keep going. No, it's actually Jero that finds Dr. B, and this will stop the blink from going out. The dagger does miss. And Ember wants to find the punishment kills that I keep talking about. It should be a successful defense, but that's a beautiful darn change from Ember. And this is a bit of revenge for him, I'm sure. They could go for a fight here on the Radiant end to try and save this Centaur, but I think they're just going to let him go here. And yeah, Dr. B, he's going to lose his life. They took absolute ages. He's literally standing there taking all this abuse. And he's just standing there kind of being like, come on guys, let's make this quick. Octarine Core now on Ember Spirit. So those spells going to be coming a lot faster. Obviously heal him up a bit as well. They're going to start pushing that tier 2 while the 2 heroes are down, but they do have a buyback available. In fact, the Radiant creeps have been pushed this far anyway, so I don't know if they can actually push this tier 3 in time. And you've got the Coddle with the Illuminates coming out. I'm sure the Blinding Light will be coming out soon as well. They're trying to push the tier 3, but it's got backdoor protection. Definitely a mistake to use that the Fortify. Not necessary because they're going through backdoor. Overgrowth committed to stop Zedimental. Royale wants to keep going, and he'll find a kill to Treant with the root. Good pickup. This is the point where they don't overextend. Pick up that damn gem, And actually, there's the chains, and they might get the OD kill here, which is what I was talking about, that overextension. He does get an Astral. The stun comes out from Nyx. Can they save Royale? They might just be able to. No, they won't. Zedimental still going for a kill here. Good stun out from Dr. B now. And it's a bit of a stalemate at this point. Limpinator dealing a lot of disables right now, and I mean, the Dire really have to back out of here, I think. They're losing too much. Good stun out again from Nyx, but there's just no follow-up at the moment. Zedimental was forced to go back and heal up. And without Zedimental right now, there's just not enough damage to be dealt after all those disables. So the Dire will walk away with most of their lives. They just lost a Treant. I wanted to comment, but there wasn't really much time. Two things for feedback purposes. The overextension while they were pushing the tier 3. They killed the Rubik off, but then they forced themselves past the tier 3 for no reason. Especially, like, the overgrowth was committed. There was no fear. Like, they should have just safely taken the tier 3 and the racks and backed off, because there was nothing that was going to stop them. Then they overextended, they split up, they were out of position, and that's when they started getting picked off one by one again. Then they get pushed back. The Dire heroes are at the tier 3. They're pushing the lane. It's backdoor protected anyway. So, like, the damage being dealt is being recovered anyway. But the Fortify was committed, which is a decently long cooldown. It's still on cooldown for another 3 minutes. And it wasn't necessary because the tower was never going down. No damage was going to be dealt because the creep equilibrium was not in the way of the Dire to be able to push. So it was really a waste of a Fortify as well, which really could have cost them, because if they lost that fight at bot without that Fortify, I mean, it would really suck, because you just wasted a Fortify, you lost the fight, now you're going to lose the second racks. Diego, mid lane, actually commits the ulti and the BKB, but Zedimental, he's literally copping no damage. Now he has, but he's going to heal that up pretty fast with that heart. Beautiful stun from the Nyx. Limpinator, he's really doing the jobs here. Overgrowth committed. Zedimental throws out the dagger. Can he get the kill? Diego will end up going down. This is looking good for the Radiant. Luna actually commits a buyback as well. And are they going to keep going here? Moon has to back off. The Blinding Light committed. Limpinator still throwing out those stuns. And I think that's it from the Radiant end. They're happy with the buyback. They want to back out of here. Royale, bit of an overextension. Got to back off. Get back in that position. Zedimental still trying to find someone to hit right now. Moon, he's just trying to protect his life right now. He's almost dead. Blinding Light, he looks like he'll be able to walk this one off. And Ember Spirit, he's overcommitted. He will lose his life right now. The Hammer committed as well. Doesn't really kill anyone. And Moon died somehow. Looks like it was from the Quill's dream. He's still being chased up. And it looks like Zedimental's actually going for the full backlines here to try and find the supports, because they believe Dream's already dead, which he looks like he probably will be. And Zedimental, he's being smart going for the Rubik, but the Rubik lifts him anyway. But good couple kills for the Radiant. This may be a Rax for them. At the very least, they're going to force buybacks. So good couple kills. Definitely worthwhile if they can force the buybacks and just back out of there again. I believe, yeah, Roshan's up as well, so it's perfect timing. Third Roshan, you get the cheese. This is before the new patch, of course, where the second Roshan gives you the cheese now. And yeah, they'll back off. They're pinging out that Roshan. This is the right decision to make from the Radiant end. We'll see what they can do here. They haven't committed to the Roshan yet. I am hoping they get some warding down before they do commit. Because right now they don't have enough. Well, they have nothing to tell them what's going on. In fact, the Dire will commit themselves to Roshan. And I think they might just be able to go for it. Like, the Radiant really shouldn't be aware that this is happening unless they have, like, some intuition. It looks like Moon does have that kind of Dota 2 intuition right now. Throws the Illuminate out to get some vision. But he's going to be chained up now. The Stampede was committed. They're going to go for a kill. Dr. B actually gets overgrowth before he can stun. Ember, he kills off one. Rubik did die as well, though. Beautiful stuns from Limpinator. He does burrow, going for some more stuns out there. They do kill off the Ember Spirit. That's massive. There is a buyback from the Rubik. The Eclipse dealing a hell of a lot of damage, but Zedimental's still alive. The Aegis was on the Luna, I believe, and it was, yes. Diego, they can kill him off right now. I don't think they should really back off here. Jero, he's taken down Zedimental, but actually Jero, he's just going to lose his life to Zedimental, I think. Can he get the invis off? Oh, there's the stun, the mana leak, or the mana drain, and they get the kill. This is the time where they could... Well, they can't really force a push because 3 of their heroes are dead, but... At the very least, they could probably try and deal a bit of chip damage to that tower in the mid lane. But I think they're going to think better of it and just back off and try to do it safely as a team. They did force the buyback from Rubik. And Zedimental is getting very, very farmed. He's got the Abyssal Blade now. He just picked up a Boots of Travel as well. So he's doing very well for himself. Gonna keep pushing and farming. Gotta have that buyback gold. He is going for that Moonshard next, which is really the last item he can afford, unless he wants to give up the Blade Mail. Tato, he's gonna be found out. He has the what the hell's that damn thing called? The Glimmer Cape. And he will be chased up. Beautiful stun. I mean, that obviously that was just a lucky kind of thing, and Dream's not happy about it. Not the nicest thing to do when you say well played to your own mates who just died. So that's a bit of a cop-out. I don't understand why people do that to their teammates. You just make them feel bad and they generally play worse because of it. Nevertheless, Ember, he TP's in, but he could be in trouble here. Zedimental comes in, he's got the Abyssal, it's on cooldown actually, he just committed it, but the Lincoln Sphere on Ember blocks it. The mana leak though, that might do the job. Ember, he does turn around now the Remnant, he's losing a lot of mana though. And he will be okay at the end of the day. If the Abyssal did stun, then that may have been a kill. Limpinator now, he's going to find the tree, and Jero, he should be dead. The dagger comes out as well. He does commit a blade mail, but it's not really going to matter. And they will kill him off, so that's a big kill. No overgrowth available. He has no buyback as well. And this is one of those perfect times to push. The Rubik still has 10 seconds to get up, so you can deal a bit of damage before that threat's there as well. We'll see how they pull this off, though. They've just got to try not to overextend when they're pushing this tier 3 and just deal the damage properly and safely. This is exactly what you do. Just stand there and hit. Zedimental can tank heaps. He's got over 4k HP. Also the Manta style, of course. The Crimson Guard Limpinator, he jumps in with the double stun. Now the Stampede committed, and I feel like they're overextending again. The Eclipse is committed as well. They're dealing quite a bit of damage here. And they're not actually dying. The Hammer committed. Dr. D, well, I should say the Luna does die, and she has no buyback here. Ember Spirit does take out one, and that was a big one. That was actually the Nyx. Dr. B almost dead. Royale is half HP himself. Dreams will get the kill on Dr. B, it looks like, and he will Royale almost down himself. Zedimental, he's still going for the kill on the Ember. He can't actually find it, and the Shrine's there as well to help out that Ember Spirit. So now he's going to make the run for it, but he's going to die. He really can't. He has no mana left to do anything. And that's a massive kill for the side of the Dire. And he buys back as well just to be able to defend this mid, which is fair enough, but... Like I said before that team fight broke out, I really hope they don't overextend. That was an overextension. In terms of like the farm that they have on their team right now, there is no way that the Dire End can take out the Spectre, especially if you've got four other heroes behind it, just standing there waiting for them to try and initiate. All they needed to do was stand back, let Zedimental hit the tower, use the Manta, just keep hitting the tower, take that out, and then just move on to the racks. All the other heroes just stand back and just relax. As soon as there's an initiation onto Zedimental, then the Centaur and the Nyx will all jump in, get the job done, you know, disable, and that's when you go in. But for some reason they're initiating first when they don't need to. And this is definitely a mistake in my eyes. It's the second time they've missed that racks. They do go for a kill on Ember, but obviously the Remnant doesn't allow that to happen. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is, this is when you've got a Spectre that farmed, you do not need to initiate the team fight. They need to initiate the team fight on you. Spectre can tank all the spells from the Dire and still survive, guaranteed. including the Eclipse, including the Remnants, the Overgrowth, anything Rubik steals, he can tank all of it for at least a good 10 seconds. Which will give you guys enough, like the rest of the team, enough time to save him. And he'll just heal up and get back into the team fight, so... there should have been a Rax taken from the Radiant about 10 to 15 minutes ago now. But because of that overextension, it didn't happen. Nevertheless, we live and we learn. Looks like the Dire. They're going to try and make something happen here. They realize they're running out of time. And they practically already have. If they can kill this man and he has no buyback, then they could probably win out the game. But Zedimental, he has to be very careful because he did have to buy back to protect his tier 4s. I'm not sure about being this deep right now. He is lucky that the Dire are out of position right now to go for him. But that's definitely some very, very dangerous farming position to go for. They are going to find the OD though. Luna will be the first one in. OD really needs to Astral himself if he gets into trouble here. Good Stampede out. Now Spectre comes in. They're going to go on Diego first. That's the right target. They'll take him out. Now the hammer drop, but it was too early. The Overgrowth was there as well. And Treant, can they take him down? Dr. B, he's still trying to find somebody to hit. Jero looks like he might just go down here. The Illuminate going through them as well. Dr. B does throw out the stun. Royale will pick up a double kill. Now the Ember will be the next target, but he's very hard to kill. They're going to keep chasing though. Limpinator, he's trying to find the stun. He's running the wrong way. Actually, no, he's not because he's trying to go for Dreams at the moment. No, he was going for the Ember. And that'll be it. They're going to keep pushing this mid tower. Well, they know the Treant is down. The fear of Overgrowth is not there. Now, I hope they're not planning on split pushing. Because Spectre is not a split pushing. It doesn't deal enough damage to structures to be able to split push. They should be going as 5 right now. Zedimental with that Crimson Guard, even tankier right now. They really can't kill him by them, like really can't kill him. They jump on the Ember Spirit though. The stun out there, the lift comes out, the Eclipse. Dr. B's copping it all, but he's still surviving through all of it. Now the Stampede, they're initiating again. Tato may lose his life. No, he won't. The Shrine is there. They're going to find a kill onto the Luna. That's massive. Ember Spirit dealing so much damage though. Dr. B may just lose his life, but they'll kill the Ember Spirit off. That's great. The buyback is there from Ember as well. Now that Overgrowth, Jero is back. He has respawned. Looks like Spectre about to lose his life, but Zedimental, he will back off in time. And he should be able to heal up his HP in the meantime. Looks like Treant almost dying again. They're going to give up Royale here. And no, Dr. B says, no, I won't give up Royale. Jumps in with the stun. Ember still trying to fight this one out. Zedimental almost kills off this Ember. Is he going to die here? They have no way to root him in place anymore. OD will get taken down. Dreams, he's dealing so much damage with those quills. The supports have to be careful here. And Moon, he's going to lose his life. And in fact, he will. And, I mean, my goodness, they jump back into the Dire base. They get a kill onto the Treant. It's 2 for 2 right now. If you don't include the buybacks, Zedimental, they're pinging out the racks. They're saying, let's just go for the damn racks. But Ember Spirit's there with the chains. They're probably going to be able to kill off Dr. B. He committed the Stampede, but didn't really run back because it was rooted. Now Ember, can they take him down? No, they can't. They're copying too much damage here. Limpinator, he's going to have to back off. And, I mean, Zedimental, he's about to die. The Astral's there to try and protect him. Dreams is there, they're just waiting for the moment. And now he's slowing him up. And I don't think Zedimental can get away from this one anymore. No, he can. The root's there from Royale. The hammer dropped as well. That's massive from Royale. They'll get the kill into that. The buyback committed. Zedimental, he's just going to back off and try and survive here. And Ember, he actually can't man-fight this OD even without the Arcane Orb. Which is very interesting. Zedimental asking them to let them end. So I can't really stress enough like how important it is that you guys don't initiate, but counter initiate. It's the same story at bottom. Like, you're getting the tier 3s. That's cool. But if you allow Zedimental to walk in by himself and then counter initiate, rather than making the centaur jump in and get double stuns or whatever, you will find more. Because number one, they have to jump into you to commit. So they're out of position when they jump into you to try and fight you. Ember has to commit like a remnant at the least to get in the middle of everything. So then he's stuck in the middle of all you guys, and you guys have free reign over him. Like, trying to initiate on them is just not going to work. And I'm sure you guys will eventually get there in terms of, you know, pushing the like, just continuously throwing bodies at the racks until they all go down, which is actually a legit strategy. But like, this is in my opinion, it's the second racks that should have been taken already. And I really do believe that simply due to the fact that you guys are initiating first rather than letting the Dire initiate, it's really causing that issue where you're actually losing too many heroes because you've dived too far. Dagger comes out. They're going to go for a kill here. Tato, he might go down. Oh, there's a good overgrowth there from Treant. Can they get a kill? The Eclipse is committed as well. Nick's copying a lot of damage, but he does burrow. Beautiful stun onto Thwor. And looks like Dreams might go down. Tato is almost dead himself. There was a lift there though in Spec. He's going to keep going for this damn Rubik. They will take him out. Now Diego about to lose his life. He's just not farmed enough to put up with these heroes anymore. And the only one left is Bristle, pretty much. Oh, there is the Ember actually. But he should go down to this OD pretty darn fast. In fact, he will. Dreams, he's a different story. He's so tanky, he could probably kill somebody, but he actually doesn't get to. There's no buybacks available on the Dire anymore, I should say. And this should be mega creeps right now. Like, there's no buybacks available. But they've got no creeps. That's really unfortunate. That is so unfortunate. So, I really thought this is an easy mega creeps for them. But, literally every lane is at their base. So they're going to have to push this out. At this point, they are, you know, going for the shrine is not a bad decision. Obviously, the Roshan will be the next target. So they're doing all the right things at the moment. Very, very unfortunate that the creeps weren't in their range, because that is definitely a mega creeps that is lost. And they only needed one lane of creeps to be there to take full mega creeps in full racks in all lanes, but a bit unfortunate. Nevertheless, pushing on this Roshan continues. They do find themselves a cheese as well. This should really be the final nail in the coffin, I think, for the Dire end. Royale very farmed himself. He's got a Hex, BKB, Hurricane Pike. Of course, the Rod of Atos that he's been using quite a lot. Got to be able to switch out that Hand of Midas and use it, sir. Can't leave that on cooldown. Can't have those passive backpack Midases. Not sure how long that's been in his backpack doing nothing for, but wasted gold right there. Bit of a pause. Royale does DC, and I knew the Dire wouldn't wait, because obviously they're losing the game pretty hard, and this is probably their only chance to come back. Diego finding it quite entertaining. Well, Royale's got back in though pretty darn fast, so won't affect them too much. Damn it, Royale, use that damn Midas. Like, at this point, obviously, he doesn't really need the gold anymore. He's basically 6-slotted if you don't count the Aegis, but... Well, he's not really 6-slotted. Like, he could still afford, like, a Shiva's Guard once the Aegis expires. That's just gold wasted, my friend. And of course you could argue like, well, it's not, you know, they're already dominating the game, but it's about efficiency. Everything counts. Everything counts, no matter how late into the game you go. They will be pushing this bot. They've got the Aegis, they've got the cheese, they've got everything they need right now. The only thing they don't have is that Moonshard that Zedimental wants so bad, but he can't afford it. They're going for another kill, and the overgrowth is there, and again, this is the same mistake over and over again. Now Ember, he's going to start dealing all the damage. Looks like Treant will go down, but the job is done from his end. Royale, he's, I mean, he's still alive, but he's lost a lot of health. The Eclipse is committed as well. Zedimental copying a lot of damage. Looks like there will be some deaths going on here. Dr. B will be the first one. Although, and actually OD died as well, but he had the Aegis available. Zedimental, he's losing his life. And OD fighting this Diego, but oh, the hammer drop to get the final kill, but he ends up dying anyway. There's actually Divine Rapier there. I did not even notice that, but it looks like Luna picked that one up. And the game suddenly gets a lot more exciting with the Divine. I'm really not sure whose that was, but I'm very, very sure it was the Luna's. Which it really explains why she was dealing so much darn damage. I was sitting there going, why is she why is she able to man fight all of a sudden? Push though, unsuccessful. Don't make me explain the reasoning again. You know what? Like, by this point, you should know exactly what I'm going to say about that. So, they will get back to. I mean, Centaur's the only one alive right now. He'll just get back to farming as he should. I mean, Dr. B, he is missing an item at the least. Not sure what he wants quite yet. Obviously, he could commit to like the heart as a very, very late game. You know, well, it's 65 minutes in, so you may as well. Ember, is he gonna go for a kill attempt here? No, he'll back off. Just a bit of harassment. I'm so surprised Jero did not try to go for an Aghanims this game, but at the same time, it's not like he's really had the farm to be able to do it, so this poor Treant will be just walking around with some arcane boots and a blade mail to try and hurt somebody if they hurt him. If I was to pick the MVP of the Dire at this point, I would definitely say this Bristle has played pretty much spot on. He's done everything right. He's really been carrying his team. The Ember Spirit's pretty good as well, but I mean, the Bristle's just been carrying the team for the whole game. And yeah, you could argue like, oh, it's a Bristle. He presses 2 buttons at max, but more than likely he's just pressing quills and running around, facing his back towards the enemy. But there is a science and an art form to playing the Bristleback, and he does play it very well. Understands the limitations of the hero. Radiant, if I was going to give the MVP to anyone, I'd definitely say it's the Nyx. He's been playing very well, been getting a lot of beautiful stuns off, and I mean, he's been playing very well. Like, there's not much to say about him. He could probably take more advantage of the Burrow with the Aghanim Scepter. I feel like it's been a bit underwhelming from his end, especially because there appears to be some kind of hesitation with throwing out the stuns while he's in Burrow form, even though the cooldown's only 7 seconds while he's burrowed. So, and because you have the crazy mana regen when you're burrowed as well, it's not like you should be concerned about that. Just keep throwing them out. It just slows down the push, deals a bit of damage, and you know, about 4 to 5 seconds after they you know, aren't stunned anymore, you're gonna have one back up again. Nevertheless, though, he's been doing a great job, and you know, if I was to pick my MVP throughout the game, I'd say it's the Nyx. Obviously, Zedimental's been playing very well. Well, all of them have been playing very well. Zedimental, it's to be expected from a carry, of course. You get the free farm, you know, you obviously you're going to get a lot of kills, but Nyx, there's a bit of finesse to the Nyx. They're going to go for this push again. Again, they're going for that throwing the bodies at the rack strat, which I don't mind, like I said, but there's more efficient ways to do it. And in fact, Zedimental, he decides he'd rather go back and farm. Because that OD was not with them at the time, obviously they know better than to go for the push. I'm not sure I've seen too much action from the Hex on Royale. He may be hitting the Ember and basically breaking the Lincolns instead of getting the Hex effect on him. I'm not 100% sure because obviously it's hard to keep track of everything that's going on in a team fight, but definitely want to make sure that Hex is being used effectively because I mean, especially against an Ember, it's just massive. Against every hero here, but the Ember, the Bristleback, the Luna, like Hex is massive against them. You can't Manta out of it, of course, as well. Very slow game here, though. It does look like the Radiant side are going to be grouping up, and they do want to go for some kind of initiation onto that Rax. At least one. We are almost 70 minutes in fact 69 minutes right now. Look at that net worth. Of course it's gone way in the way of the Radiant now. They're past 20k XP. That's going to start evening out because everyone's hitting level 25, so it should hit 0 at the end, but in terms of gold, that always kind of tells the truth. And the Radiant, they really aren't giving up that advantage that they have. Actually, Ember caught out here. Zedimental will man fight, but the Remnant, they're just going to continue waiting on this. The Centaur has in fact picked up a heart. So he is also now got over 4k HP. The Coddle is pretty much pimping right now. He's got the Axe, got the Yules, got the 4-staff. He's even got a cheese just for the hell of it. And that's what they were waiting for this whole time. They're waiting for that next Roshan. Again, another cheese, another Aegis. And they'll slowly but surely take this down. Zedimental, he's making sure that the lanes are pushed out. To make sure that they don't run into the same issue they had last time where they win a massive team fight and they can't actually push for megas. Just gotta be careful not to give up his life. But he's being smart, using those Manta illusions, which are really, really tanky anyway, so it's hard to take them down. And as they try their best, throwing everything but the kitchen sink at them, they'll finally get them down, but this gives plenty of space and time for the Roshan. And I've got a comment, there hasn't been many wards to protect them in case of an initiation in the Roshan pit. There's absolutely no wards. You need one there, and you need one right there. Now I realize the shrine's not there anymore, but the likelihood is they're still going to run through there to try and get to you. Fastest route to the Roshan, but nevertheless. Royale sitting there with 7k HP. I noticed he has used the Midas now, so that's a positive. Probably should pick up that last item. I would personally recommend the Shivers right now. The added armor obviously helps quite a lot against all the heroes that they're against. The int is never a problem. The active spell that you can use is very good. They don't actually have a Shivers at all, which is a bit of a shame. It really would help in their team fights. Bit of crowd control. The slow auras and things like that. They're going to go for a push. They're not grouped up as 5 though. And they will. It looks like they will wait till they're a full 5. Let's see what they do here. Are they going to rush in and try to go for a team fight? Zedimental, he'll run in first. And Limpinator. Oh, there's the Overgrowth again onto 3. Now the Remnant's coming in, but it's too late. The Stampede is there. And Royale looks like he will go down even though the BKB is there. Because Luna does have a Divine Rapier, but nevertheless, they're going to keep going here. And it does look like the Royale will go down a second time. Drops the hammer, gets the kill at the least on the Luna though. In fact, it wasn't the Luna who died, it was the Ember Spirit who had the Divine. That's very strange. Luna will go down, have the Divine as well. Dreams. He'll be the next target. I believe there's a Divine now on Zedimental. In fact, there is. And this should make it very easy for them to take out these heroes. They're going to be able to take them out pretty simply. Ember doesn't really stand a chance. There's too much damage coming out from Zedimental right now. They will get the kill. The only concern is Dreams. And he has the Blade Mail, and Zedimental literally just killed himself. So many buybacks coming out, but I think this is definitely GG. Yeah, with those Divines, it's not exactly gonna be very hard to take out these final towers. So they do call the GG. It's very clearly GG because there's no buybacks available. I will provide some ending comments, just for the sake of, you know, providing a bit of feedback that I was requested to do. Whenever they're going to give me the accept button to get out of this replay, unless I have to press this X, which I'm just going to do. So, before I start, allow me to apologize because I was meant to make this replay a lot more hype, like my usual style of casting. But when somebody asks me to give them feedback on a game, I tend to try and... It doesn't mix well when you're trying to be hype and you're trying to provide like information as to why things are happening. It doesn't really work well in terms of like hype and that. So the cast probably didn't sound as hype as it should have been. So my apologies for that. I hope the feedback was helpful in any sense, but allow me to go through some of the things. Firstly, I mean, I believe the comment that was given to me by Zedimental was that the game was quite long and you guys struggled to end it. When you pick a Spectre number 1, you're expecting a late game. Spectre is not an early to mid game hero. It's always going to be unless it's a completely garbage team, it's always going to be like a plus 40-minute game, especially when you have a terrible laning stage. It's going to be a long game. Now, mind you, Zedimental played very well. It's not his fault, but it's more so the fact that the hero itself is very late game. If it doesn't have a good start, it is just not a good hero to be playing. The Centaur, he played very well. I believe Dr. B, he did die once. It looked like it was a dive under the tier 1 by the Luna and Rubik, which I was a bit surprised about, but I guess once you've got that Eclipse, the Lucent Beams hit you 3 or 4 times, then you add another Lucent Beam on top of that manually, and it's just too much damage, magic damage for the Centaur, I suppose, with the Rubik. Coddle, I don't have much to say. He did the best he could as a support against a Bristle Treant lane, which is not much you can do. Probably could have got a few more sentries at the start to try and find the Treant, but I believe he did in the first few minutes anyway. So there's not much to say about Coddle. Like, he played his hero well, the best of his ability against what he was up against. Royale played well, but there was a couple, and I've casted Royale quite a few times, so I know he's a pretty damn good player. He died a couple times to Ember Spirit, and I know some of the times it was, there were ganks. You definitely don't want to die solo to an Ember Spirit. Now, I know it's pretty easy to underestimate how strong an Ember can be in the early game. But I noticed every time he died in the early stages of the game, he committed the Astral to farm creeps, and then he got jumped on every single time. What I've learned, because I play a lot of OD myself, what I've learned is if you can see the Embers being aggressive, like in his positioning, like he's right next to the creeps, he looks like he's ready to go, he's got his Flame Guard on, or everything's available to him, probably best not to use the Astral unless it's on him. Because as soon as he sees it, he's going to make the jump, and if he gets the chains on you, you're screwed. You're dead, 100%. So just be careful with the Astral usage against an Ember Spirit. Any other hero and you would be fine, more than likely, but against an Ember, you can't spam that Astral onto creeps, because if he's around, he's going to destroy you. every single time you use it. And the Knicks, Limpinator, my personal MVP for the side of the Radiant, simply due to the amazing stuns he threw out, the fact that he was able to level up relatively well, even though he was in a tri-lane, which is very bad for a Knicks. And yeah, he did a great job. So I don't have much to say about him. Personally, about the draft, I would argue do not put a Knicks in a tri-lane, because it's just not a good tri-lane, especially against a Bristleback and Treant. Even if the Treant wasn't there, the Bristleback would still beat your lane against that tri-lane. The Coddle was very good against Bristle, but I guess with the Treant there, it makes it really hard. Limpinator, the reason I'm saying he played very well is because he came back from such a terrible disadvantage, being that he's in a tri-lane and it failed as well. In my opinion, the Knicks should always be on the off lane or the mid lane. He needs that solo XP. He needs to get those levels very fast and start making plays with the Vendetta. So the game probably could have been much better in the early game if he had that opportunity. But yeah, I thought the tri-lane was a bit greedy with the Knicks. You probably could have gone for something different in terms of heroes. Other position 4s, like I'm talking like Ricky, Bounty Hunter, Monkey King, any roaming position 4. Knicks is obviously a roaming position 4, but he can't do it at level 1. The Ricky would have been probably way better, in my opinion. Bounty Hunter, not so great anymore, but still decent. Just things like that. I know they don't offer stuns, but it's more about the fact that they're an invis hero. They can change lanes. They can make things happen across the map early, and assist the other lanes. Like the OD needed help against that Ember, and it just never came because it's a Nyx that can't get any XP. So, what I'm trying to say is, don't try lane with the Nyx. Not in these patches. It doesn't work. But you guys made it work. Don't get me wrong, but you guys probably could have had a way better early stage of the game had it not been like a very greedy tri lane, being a Spectre Coddle Nyx. You don't get much greedier than that, unless you put like an Alchemist there or something. Apart from that, guys, like I said, the Rax situation that happened like 5 times. You literally, all you have to do is let Spectre tank. Just go hit the tier 3, let them initiate on the Spectre, let them throw out all the spells onto the Spectre, then you guys initiate. You've got a Centaur who has Stampede, so you will always be able to get in position within a couple seconds. You have a Nyx with an Aghanim Scepter, so he can literally burrow and stun as soon as they jump on the spec. You have an OD who needs to be at distance to be effective, and you have a Coddle with a Blinding Light and Illuminate. There's no reason for you guys to initiate first. You guys do way better counter-initiating. So, hopefully that lesson is learnt. Maybe not, but you can take my word for it or not. That's my 2 cents on it. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the cast. Again, apologies. I was meant to make it way more hype than that. It's just I got caught up in giving feedback about what was happening. In future, if you guys have any like really cool games that you think will be exciting for me to cast, just tell me. I'll of course, if you're not asking for any kind of feedback or anything like that, and you just want me to purely cast and be hype, then the product that I will provide you will be very different to what it is right now, because I'm not trying to do 2 things at once. But I hope the feedback's helpful, and of course, never be afraid to ask me for any tips, and I'll happily do this again if you guys want. But yeah, hopefully that's enjoyable, guys. Anyway, it's Michael Phoenix. You guys have a great day ahead, and until next time, guys, I'll see you later.